All right, guys, we are popping in after another successful day of work. Slightly routine, but not really too routine because we do have some really strong takeaways and lessons and notes from the day. Today is Thursday, April 2nd, 2026. We popped out of bed today at 7:20, worked all day, and it is currently 10:01. Just want to make sure I could read that correctly. It was not 10:10, but it's 10:01 p.m. right now. We've got two more tasks to complete for tonight. One is laying out the exact order of execution tomorrow. I found that on days where it's an ambiguous, like finish ClickUp tasks, and there's like 100 tasks that are on ClickUp, I find that those days I do worse than if it's like do this, then do this, then do this, then do this. Not like laying out all 100 in a row, but like do this chunk of tasks, then this chunk of tasks, then this chunk of tasks. That way I find that the focus is able to be actually directed into one area as opposed to getting spattered all over the place. Like for example, if there's 50 tasks that have to get done and the goal is complete the tasks, well, you could get sent into one direction that's technically completing a task but not allowing you to go deep on any of the tasks. You're not really getting a ton of them done, and you end up working the entire day, being busy, and then not really quite getting anything done. So I'll be laying out the rest of the day, and then also be having a quick chat with Claude about just like not hearing my alarms in the morning and not being able to wake up. I've been having this weird fluctuation. You'll probably, if you watch all the videos, but I doubt anybody does, over the past month and a half or so with like traveling and then being back in the office. When I'm traveling, I'm kind of getting like 3 to 5, maybe 6 hours of sleep per night when I'm traveling. And then when I'm back here, I'm like really struggling to wake up to the alarm even when I do go to bed on time, and then it like perpetuates in a cycle where like I'll get up at 7:20 after setting my alarm for 5:30. I just wake up at 7:20 and it's like light out. I was like, what the fuck? Like that's not what was supposed to happen. And then you end up staying up later when you wake up later, and it's just not a really good cycle. And I want to be able to break that cycle and not fall victim to it all the time. So I'll be having a chat with Claude about that later tonight. I'll let you know my findings, and then we'll see how well we wake up tomorrow. Nonetheless, got our 5 sales motion activities in today. No workout again, injured and not number one priority. I'm thinking I'm gonna take this one off of the list and update this board pretty soon. There will come a time when this becomes a priority again in my life, but at this stage of the game, I'm quite literally waking up, sitting down to do work, and with the exception of a typical 20-minute walk and like 5-minute force feed in the middle of the day, I'm actually working the entire day. So it's definitely been a bit more, it's just less of a priority. The business is the number one priority, especially now we have our rocks with the OS and our critical tasks from ACQ. It's difficult for me to care about anything else at this moment, and we've been growing at a pretty rapid pace. That being said, got our deep work in this morning, did a lot of ClickUp automations and cleanup. So our ClickUp project management center, as we keep scaling, is continuously needing more improvements and more maintenance and upkeep. So basically what I did was start flagging with icons different clients that were able to be managed by different people. So like who has the final say in the video. I still have final say for some clients. Others, it's post-production manager only, which will allow for a faster service. Also updated a ton of automations, updated automations on the board for like who gets assigned to what when tasks get moved to certain statuses, and then also like what the base information is on each task. So that took a few hours in the morning. And then after that was on call. So I had a call with an editor that we brought on. That was one of my to-dos this week, was bring on one editor. So we got that completed. And then took a sales call, which is led me to the uncomfortable, my ACQ update. So one of the things that the advisors told me were like, dude, you need to charge $100,000 for what you do. And I remember just sitting there when he said that, I was like, $100,000 for what we do? Like that's crazy. He's like, you're gonna hear no more often, and it's gonna be uncomfortable. You're gonna make a lot more money. And I was like, okay, like $100,000 for the year, and set the people up for like a year's worth of service as opposed to a one-time fly out, which like in hindsight is an incredible play. And the more that I think about the critical tasks that they gave me, the more that I'm very excited to start executing on them. When I first saw them, I was kind of like, honestly, just a bit scared. And it wasn't what I had in mind. But we're executing them regardless, and I think they're going really well. I had that conversation, the lady, like I said, $100,000 for the year. It's a bit like in shock. And then by the end of the call, we were talking through like what it looks like and asking buying questions, and we booked a follow-up call for next Monday. So super excited about that. Ended up being really uncomfortable. It was the first time I got like a no or an objection all year. And I like, obviously it's uncomfortable, but what the advisors would tell me is that you're ultra underpriced if you're not hearing any no's or any real objections. So that was a big thing. And then we also got verbal confirmation on one of those same deals today as well. And I'll be waiting for confirmation on the contract. I sent the contract out literally 30 minutes ago, and so that should be getting confirmed tomorrow. We're starting to get to work on it, and then we'll be flying second week or third week of April. That'll be the 17th through 19th. We'll be flying over to the East Coast again, so very excited about that. And we've just been dialing in the process and perfecting it each and every time, so I'm super excited there. And then the other thing that I saw was like one of the daily notes that you get. So I will have this Something to Think About by Adam Grant. It's like the daily reflections that you can look at, or just like daily quotes. And one of them was like, reflection as like extended periods of reflection without action is really just procrastination. And I feel like I fell into that trap a little bit earlier in the year. And what kicked me out of that procrastination and reflection, or like reflection to the point where it was procrastination, was spending a lot of money on EOS and acquisition. So I was just like, boom, like here, I'm in. And it kind of just forced me to take action. If you don't take action, then you're kind of stuck. So that's what I got for you today. 2 lessons: get uncomfortable. Sometimes the solution is uncomfortable, and it's best to just rock with the solution regardless, even if it is uncomfortable. And then reflection, too much of it without any action is procrastination. Overall, big day today. I'm going to set my pins up to knock them down for tomorrow. Talk with Claude a little bit, and then we'll be asleep hopefully in about 30 minutes. See you tomorrow.